And we are live.
Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the April Chart Champions Coaches Roundtable. My
Yeah, hello everyone, by the way. So I hope you can all hear Scott because I am hosting the stream, so it should be all right with my. Um, I think
just
there
let me
was.
know.
I think there was no sound. So let's just do the introduction again. But they should be able to hear you now. So let's see.
Beautiful. Hey, it wouldn't be a real video without some sort of technical glitch. So let's get it out of the way. Welcome. Good afternoon and good evening. I hope you are all doing well. My name is Scott. I'm a professional trader, a longtime member of Chart Champions, and the host of the monthly Coaches Roundtable. And here we are at the end, actually at the beginning of May for the April Roundtable. And I have here with me two of our most wonderful coaches, Coach Rivalry and Coach Severin. And today's topic is all about a healthy body, how it affects a healthy mind, and how that can impact your trading. And so I think we have two wonderful examples of that here. And yeah, I would like to give them just a moment to give their opening thoughts. Rivalry, Severin, feel free to give us your intros.
Yeah, I
You can go
mean,
ahead,
we
bro.
we we can just have a look at Drivery. He looks very sharp. He's a good trader, so we can end the stream here, I would say, right?
Right, that's
No,
it, folks. All right, thank you.
no, just kidding. But yeah, that's a very interesting topic. Actually, something that is very close to my heart as well. So I'm looking forward to this. We are obviously also going to give our take on the markets real quick. So yeah, gonna cover that as well. I will be having a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Gonna catch up on the YouTube video I did a while ago, so that's gonna be a good one as well. And yeah, what about you, Rory?
Yeah, I mean, I love, you guys caught me off guard because like I knew that we were gonna be on live today. And you guys know if you guys are part of Chart Champions, I'm on Discord 24/7. So I was like, hell, we're going live, dude. I'm gonna fix myself up, wear a nice shirt, show up. But as you guys know, this is what we do, and we enjoy every moment of it. So thank you guys for joining us, man.
Thank you for joining me. This is incredible. I look forward to hearing all of your perspectives. And just so you know, none of us are professional trainers, and no financial advice ever. So, of course, it wouldn't be an amazing, wonderful, incredible Chart Champions video without some hard hitting TA. So, Rivalry, would you like to kick us off? Give us an overview of what's going on in the indexes, and then maybe we can go over to Severin to see what's all going on in crypto.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have my screen already shared, correct?
Yeah, they can see it.
Perfect. So, if you guys are familiar with how I do my analysis, I basically do everything off profile rotations. So everything is going to be based off a weekly time frame on a higher time frame. You can scalp it intraday, which would be daily, but as you can even see on the local price action here, and if you're new, okay, a rotation would be price remaining in balance off historical levels. Okay, so for example, when you had the weekly open here, you opened inside and you reclaimed inside balance because it failed to create a imbalance to the downside, at which your next target would be the previous week POC. You hit that, and if you're closing at least a 4 hour candle above, you're likely going to hit the value area high. And if you start closing a 4 hour candle below that, that is when you're going to get a full rotation to the downside, at what point your next target would be the POC and then the value area low. So it's really nice that that is rotating. Although that there's a lot of major impact data today, price is still within balance. Even this is considered still within balance. This is typically an entire range right here. Where things start getting bearish for me is if you start losing this, because there isn't a whole lot of value to the downside. Okay, I don't consider this a very strong level right here at this untested value at 48.93. It's actually, I personally don't think it's going to hold if we start going down there. We will likely hit this overall demand zone where you see price consolidating for 3 weeks. This is what you call more of a balanced day, actually balanced 3 weeks of building value before it pushed to the upside. So very similarly, you have value building right here before to the downside, right? So it's the exact same way. A tip that I would recommend to some of you is if you're looking at profiles, check to see where most of the value, quote unquote, the bulk of the data is being traded, right? So for example, you see the POC here, POC here. You did get a pullback, but it's still higher than this. So you're likely to see higher. POC, 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 right? And then you have another POC here, which is still higher than this. POC, 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 POC. It is when you started to bring POCs to the downside is where you are now likely looking at a full rotation to where the last time POCs were consolidating, which would be here, which is why I'm still looking for this value. If you lose this, you're likely going to go back to here as this area. Honestly, if bears wanted to push this down, I don't see why they won't come back. And if you are new to Chart Champions, or even you're just here on a public stream, I always say this in the community. The way I look at the markets and any chart is the exact same way I look at any product that's being sold on the market. And I'm not talking about the stock market, I'm talking about any market. So whether that be real estate, something as canned goods, water, toilet paper, it doesn't matter. Take your pick, right? So the one that I like to use a lot is when people are buying or selling houses, right? So when you're looking to buy or sell a house, what does a real estate agent do, right? They run computations around your local area, right? So in this case, the last time you had a interest in buyer demand was right here, okay? You had a little one here, but this is technically more of a small range compared to that. So this is the last time you had actual buyer demand. So if there isn't enough buyer interest in here, you're going to go down to where your next quote unquote discount is of where the most interest is, okay? Although there is a level here, like I said, it is not an area that I'm looking to long aggressively. If I do see change of market structure, of course, I'm not going to ignore a level. But if price is continually falling, I will not do that. As far as the bullish sentiment, it's not until you start trading above 5182 to where we could definitely test much higher value. But that's pretty much it for me.
Awesome. Great introduction. And also just a really interesting time in the markets. We have a lot of mixed news coming in, some good, some bad. Interest rates, are they going up? Are they going down? Here, I really recommend our audience to check out Rivalry's How to Spot a Trend module. This is a step-by-step guide about how to recognize the trend, how to know when the trend is changing, how to adapt to your trading style to that trend. And also, I want to say that Rivalry's Playbook Part 1 just came out last week, and I think we'll have Playbook 2 coming out sometime maybe next month or even this month. So keep an eye out for that for sure. So Coach Severin, off to you, mate.
Yeah, so that was really nice. And let's now have a look at crypto. So I'm going to take you over to my trading view screen. So I hope you are all able to see this. And yeah, so I'm just gonna give a bit of an update on what I was looking for during the public YouTube video I did, okay? So we have been trading in this range, so ever since we created this all-time high here around 74K, it was more or less a range, okay? But recently we have seen a bit of weakness coming into Bitcoin, okay? So what I was looking at was the range low at 58,605. Okay, so whenever it comes to a range low, and the same applies for a range high, there are two scenarios for me where I would be interested in taking a long trade. The easiest entry for me would always be a SFP. Okay, so for me, I was giving updates throughout the day in my channel, and that was if I see a 4-hour close above my reference level, which in this case is the range low, I would be interested in taking an SFP long trade. Okay. what we can clearly see is that we did not get the 4-hour close above, so there's another scenario, which would be a failed auction. Okay, so what that means is price is spending a bit of time below the range low, price is also closing some candles below the range low, and once you see the reclaim, I always like to pair it with some market structure changes, at least on the 1-hour time frame. I like to use the 1-hour confirmed market structure change. This would be another interesting long trade setup for me personally. Okay, but for now this is very speculative, since we can see that price is spending time value below the range low. So for now I would not long where price is at the moment, and for now the highest probability is to look for lower prices. Okay, so I already have to prepare myself for what happens if we continue to drop to the downside. Okay, and for me there's one interesting level on the chart which is coming in around, so slightly above 50,000. Okay, so this is going to be an anchored VWAP. What I always like to do, especially on crypto, is to pull an anchored VWAP for the most recent uptrend. Okay, so we can see ever since September 23, we can see price was just going up and up and up with a very nice bullish market structure. And if we pull a anchored VWAP, this is lining up with this CC as well as a weekly level. Okay, I don't like to have so many high time frame levels on my chart, so I'm just gonna hide everything but the weekly. Okay, so this is then my next level of interest. Okay, so we can see this was a smaller range here with a bit of a supply zone here, which might flip into demand. Okay, we also have a few unfinished lows here. So this is definitely an area to be aware of if we see continued strength to the downside. Okay, now if you are one of the traders who is still looking for all-time highs, which I mean everyone has his own plan, that's always the case, but there's one level which in my opinion is very important to claim. Okay, so we can actually hide the smaller range tool here, the fixed range, and that is the value area low of this most recent range. Okay, so what we can see if we look at price action, that's also going to line up with a daily, and it's exactly the same theory I covered very briefly on the Ethereum setup, which I'm also going to review real quick. Okay, but whenever you lose a range, especially on crypto, what I always do is look for the previous range value area low, because more often than not you will get a reaction at this level, and this is a very key level to claim. Before that level is claimed, although we would see a failed auction of the range low, for example, which might happen, we don't know this yet, but if that is the case, this is the next level I'm keeping an eye on. I'm not thinking about all-time highs or higher than this range value area low. That has to be claimed for me to say, all right, we can expect higher prices to come, but that's going to be a line in the sand resistance for me. Okay, so I'm just going to put a box here, and probably that's also going to line up with the CC. So let's pull a CC real quick. If I do that, we can see it's also lining up with the CC. Yeah, so this is going to be a key area, 63,000 all the way up to, call it 64,000. Okay, so it's a bit of a range or a bit of an area, but that's very important. So 2 areas of interest for me, and yeah, that's it. So let's have a quick look at Ethereum as well. And this is exactly what I was covering here on Bitcoin as well. Okay, so during my last public video, I was giving this long trade setup. Okay, so this is something I was looking at in the altcoin stream. We can see it played out perfectly. So my target was hit for this long trade. So I hope, no financial advice obviously, but some took this trade as well. Okay, and what I was looking at was exactly the same theory. Okay, so we can see price formed a range here that was between the 3,700 and 3,000 level, more or less. Okay, we lost this range, we spent some time down here, and what I was saying is that we need to keep an eye on this previous range value area low, because more often than not you get a reaction at these levels. It was lining up with a nice unfinished high structure. I myself did take a really nice short trade here. I'm still in this short trade. I've taken take profit 1, take profit 2, and I'm just leaving this trade open for either lower prices or getting stopped at break even. Okay, so for me this is a risk-free trade. And what we can see locally is that we are retesting the top of the pitchfork I was showing in the public video once again. Okay, so what I'm keeping an eye on here is if we get a daily close into this pitchfork. Okay, so if you want to see this pitchfork, check out this video because that's where I explained this. Local resistance is going to be this point of control here. Okay, so local resistance is going to shift to the downside, coming in around 3065. Okay, so I'm not interested in a long trade here. I will give it some time and just keep my short trade running. So let's now go over to this call again.
Thank you so much. Another incredible update. And also, Coach Severin is releasing an altcoin stream every Thursday with several different altcoin setups, and he'll even take requests ahead of time in our Discord. So if you're interested in altcoins or you like to see this type of consistently quality technical analysis, absolutely come over and hang out with us on Thursday mornings. So with that, thank you so much for the market update, coaches. And I wanted to just move into a little bit of different segments. So I looked up some statistics around our conversation today around building a strong body and a strong mind. And I wanted to talk to the chat a little bit. Okay, so here's a question for you. This can be for the coaches too. How many hours per week of exercise are recommended for optimal cognitive performance? Yeah, let me know what you all think. How many hours per week of exercise are recommended for optimal cognitive performance? Ravelry, what do you think?
I would say about 4 to 5.
Yeah, I
4 to
would say,
5.
I would actually
A
say
week,
about
right?
the same. So I would assume 30 minutes a day at least, which would end up around 3.5, yeah, 4 hours more or less. Yeah.
Very close. Let me see if we've got any
You're
good
saying
answers in
optimal,
the
right?
chat as well.
Not like
Optimal, yeah,
maintaining.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say about 4 to 5.
Okay, I see 10 in the chat, 7, 2. All right,
10.
those are all really
Oh
good
my
answers.
goodness. You
10
said
is a
10.
lot. So the Google That's a lot. Yeah, that's like an endurance athlete. So the Google machine actually said that 2.5 hours or 150 minutes per week, so that's 30 minutes 5 days a week, is optimal. However, I don't think there's a upper limit on that. I'm sure at some point you'd get diminishing returns. You'd just be too tired. But with that said, regular exercise can actually boost your cognitive performance by up to 30%. So in the world of trading, we're always looking for edge, right? Well, I'll tell you this right now, a secret that a lot of people don't know. The biggest edge is in your diet, your sleep, and in your psychological and emotional well-being. So these coaches definitely demonstrate that every day. And so I'm so glad to have them here to talk about it. So, okay, one more quick trivia question. And this one happens to be around diet. So in this one, you guys might get this one. What nutrient found in fatty fish is essential for brain health and cognitive function?
Omega 3.
What nutrient is found in fatty fish? You got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it. And eating a balanced diet rich in fruit, vegetables, and omega-3 fatty acids can actually improve your memory and help enhance your focus. So yeah, let me see if we got any omegas in the chat. Omega-3, yes, there we go. You guys got it. Love that. And I just saw someone, I think it was Lee Summers. I love that. Shout out to Lee. He just said he trains 0.618 hours per week. And I love that. That's a funny joke. CC joke there. So,
Nice one.
anyways, I like it. Yeah, that's quality, Lee, quality. So, really just wanted to give a quick overview of today's topic, and then we can jump into our discussion. So, it's really important to keep your mind and body healthy. And I think it's become very clear that there is a connection between your physical well being and your mental well being and your ability to make quality and fast decisions in trading. So, this can absolutely impact your profitability, your trading style. And I really encourage each of you to explore how your lifestyle choices, such as your sleep habits, your diet, and your exercise, can actually impact your trading, both in the positive and the negative. So With that, I would like to start off with our first question from our bodybuilder friend, our the tank himself, Robert. Can you tell us a little bit about your daily exercise routine and how that contributes to your overall well-being and performance?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so prior to trading, like my trading journey was mainly more for like a hobby, right? I've always enjoyed trading. But my actual first passion was um, bodybuilding. Okay, I've done a few competitions, and it's something that I still love doing. But upon life circumstances and increased capital, I started putting more emphasis on actual trading, which put a huge damper on my physical health. I don't know if you guys have seen the first roundtable in December. Oh my goodness, I know there's a lot of Europeans and people that don't use the funny English system. You guys use the metric system the correct way, but I'm gonna try to convert it as best I can. I believe I was about 250 to 260 pounds, 250 pounds in Spain when we were doing the first live roundtable. I think that's like 130 kilograms, maybe 140. I don't know. And now
117.
I'm about like maybe 210. Um, and if you guys have seen my Instagram page, the stage ready photo that's on there, that's about 170 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms. Obviously, that's not the goal because that's not very healthy, as contrary to what people believe. Probably I would love to be around 190. What I've noticed, however, is that ever since I started working out again, the ones that here are at Chart Champions know that I'm like on 24/7. I'm trading London, which is like midnight for me. I'm trading New York, trading Asia. I have now gotten full 8 hours of sleep, and I will just sleep through an alarm because of the amount of working out I've been doing, and I've been changing my lifestyle to be more balanced, taking care more of my health, and that I have now noticed that my mental acuity has actually helped a lot. It's increased. So it's very basic. My lifts are very basic. I do most of my cardio while I trade, and when I do live stream, I use um, the treadmill. And then when it comes to working out, I just do a push pull leg routine, and then I take a break. So any pushing movements doesn't matter if it's a bench press, a shoulder press doesn't matter. And then I do any pulling movements for back, and then I do legs, and I take a rest. But every single day, I am walking on the treadmill besides leg day. But that's pretty much how I do things.
Are you more of a heavyweight kind of guy, or do you like to do more high reps, high intensity type of stuff?
I like doing slow contracting movements. I used to lift, like if you guys go to the gym, everybody's like lifting too heavy for their own weight, right? And I don't know why they do that, because this is probably a really bad analogy, okay? And I apologize for using this, but this is the one I was taught, and this is the one I teach everybody. So if your method is to, I mean, your goal is to grow muscle, right? Or obviously your male part is not a muscle, but does that grow with multiple reps or one stroke? And I'm sorry, but that was what I was told. So now I just do everything, with multiple reps. It's funny to hear that, but it makes sense. And you know how if you watch any of the old Arnold like videos, they always say he chases the pump. That's really what it is, because you're trying to push blood flow into the muscle. So what I typically do is I do any type of weight that I feel that if I do anywhere between 8 to 10, it's too easy. But by the time it's 15 to 20, it's starting to feel slightly pumped, I guess. And that's what I do. And I rest very little. So about 30 seconds to about a minute. And then I just do it again. But yeah,
That's
there are
awesome. Yeah,
times I do lift heavy though. It's mainly for compound lifts. But now I typically don't do free weights on the compound lifts, like let's say a back squat. I don't really, only because it uses a lot of stabilizer muscles. I'm nearly 40, so I can't do that anymore. If anything, if I am going to go heavy, I'm going to be using like a Smith machine, something that'll help me balance the weight where I can still exert the force of lifting heavier weight. But yeah.
Yep, same here. And if I ever do feel like the weight is too heavy, I don't try to ego lift, and I actually will back down and then and focus on my form, focus on the the way that I'm look in the mirror, make sure that everything's the entire connect chain is in line. Otherwise, you can risk hurting yourself, and that's
Absolutely.
not worth it because then you're out of the gym for whatever 2 3 weeks. You got to go to the doctor. You got pain. You got to ice it, whatever. So. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So, Coach Severin, how do you structure your daily exercise to complement your training schedule?
Yeah, so what I do, and I myself go to the gym actually every day, so especially throughout the week, that helps me to even focus on trading. So when I come back from the gym, I'm always very focused. But the way I like to do it is I wake up pretty early. I mean, nothing compared to Rivalry, but for Europeans, I would say quite early. I do all of my routine and everything. I prepare myself for the day ahead. And then I like to trade London Open for about 2 hours. So this is then also in alignment with the streams I do in the morning. If I do the stock market update, for example, that's going to be 10 a.m. for me. And usually around 11 a.m., all the streams are finished, or if I watch Igor's, Daniel's stream, whatever, they are all finished. And that's the time where I normally go to the gym. Okay. And I like to go to the gym for about 1.5 hours, I would say. So 1 hour to 1.5 hours. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes it doesn't take that long. But I actually do the exact same split Rivalry does. So I do a push pull leg as well. And what I did in the past was that I was always focused on the heavyweights, where I was like, yeah, you want to lift more weights and as heavy as possible, and then I was just doing the maths behind it. So, say you go on the bench press, you do 100 kilograms, and you can push it 2 times. For example, I was just thinking if you put on 80% of the weight, but you can push it for 10 times or something like that, it's just going to be more weight in total, right? So I just I was practicing with that as well, and I found that this actually is much harder, and my muscles grew a bit better using this technique. And I do swap around a little bit. So what I like to do is at least 1 week per month, I like to go heavyweight, and the rest of the 3 weeks I go on a rep that is about 12 reps or something like that. I'd like to do it rather slow. So I want to, per exercise, my repetitions should at least take me 45 seconds. Okay, so I'm doing it rather slow. And also, what I figured out, I mean, as a trader, we don't have any time to waste. So I structured my gym routine where there is almost no volatility in the markets. Okay, so that for me is 11 a.m. Typically, London open trading is finished for most people, so that's a time where you can sacrifice 1 or 2 hours to go to the gym, which is nice. I honestly, during this time, normally none of my alerts get hit. Okay, so that's how I do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And something you said just reminded me of a book I read recently. You're basically training your body to, you're not necessarily looking to just add a bunch of muscle, but you're looking to maintain the muscle mass that you have and also increase it over time slowly, which is the right way to do it, the right way to keep it. I've just read a book by Dr. Peter Attia. Some of you may have heard of him. It's a book called Outlive. He really talks about in that a lot of different things, but one of the things he talks about is at a certain age, for all humans, middle of our lives, our muscle mass actually stops increasing naturally, and it actually begins to deteriorate. And so, at a certain point in your life, the muscle mass that you have is what you'll have, and then as you get older, you need to maintain that and to be able to do the things that you want to do in old age. And so that really had me thinking about, okay, instead of thinking about like I was previously, like you, Severin, like just trying to get big, trying to lift heavy, trying to increase my numbers, so to speak. Really, it's all about maintenance and longevity, and what how do you want to how do you want to look, and how do you want to feel when you're 80 or 90? Do you want to be able to walk your dogs? Do you want to be able to carry your groceries? Do you want to be able to pick up your grandchildren? Like those are all the things I'm now thinking about. I'm probably way too in my head about that. But no, it's interesting, and it's just a fun point of
Yeah,
discussions.
it's actually really nice that you mentioned this because that is something I learned about very recently. That yeah, especially men lose around 30% of their lean body mass, which sounded really crazy to me. And that is when I got a little bit into the supplementation of these things as well. So what I started taking is amino acids, which seem to help against losing your body mass. And what I can say for myself is that it actually helps with a lot of things. So it also helps if you have an injury, for example, your body has to try and get rid of this injury, so to speak. And I always had problems with my left knee because when I was playing soccer, I broke my chin, and that had some complications with my knee because I had surgery and this and that. So I always had a pain in my left knee, and ever since I'm taking amino acids, for example, I'm not a nutritionist or whatever. That's a disclaimer I have to state here, but ever since I can go for a run without any complications, which is really nice for me.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I also I take a few different things. One of the things I do take is omega 3s, and I also take like a multivitamin, and I supplement with vitamin D. And I just want to say the best supplementation that you can actually get is drinking clean water and having a good healthy diet, and that means something else for it means something different for everybody. But no, that's really the best supplements you can have, is just getting some sunlight, getting outside to work out, and then actually keeping yourself hydrated and understanding your body. Because if you're dehydrated, you're just not going to feel good. You're not going to be optimally functioning. Just like if you had a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, you would want to get it serviced. You'd want to put the highest quality ingredients into the vehicle. So you certainly wouldn't want to put any high octane, low octane fuel in there. So that's how I kind of feel about my own body and my own diet. I know for a fact when I go eat pizza, when I have the cookies, the next day I can actually look. I'm wearing this Aura ring, and so I'm tracking all of my biometrics data. I'm looking at my heart rate variability, the quality of sleep, my daytime stress, and I can really tell that the next day after having like a little binge of junk food, that my sleep was less quality and that my heart rate's higher. It lowered later at night. My heart rate variability is lower, so my readiness therefore is actually a bit lower because of that. So a lot of interesting stuff there. Okay, rivalry. This is perfect lead into the next question. What we know that you're going all day, some days at night even too. So what diet style of eating have you found most beneficial for sustaining energy and focus throughout the day?
So this is going to be a controversial topic, only because I'm an American. So what I'm going to say is more of like an entertainment type of conversation. So most Europeans or anyone outside of America probably don't. It's probably hard for you guys to relate to this, but there's a lot of preservatives in American food, and a lot of it is very processed. A lot of like processed sugar. For me, as I was getting older, like let me backtrack. When I was doing my competition, I did what you called a carb cycle. Okay, so where my protein intake was about 220 grams, and I would macro that. So, but when you macro food, you don't really care where the source comes from. You're just kind of thinking like you're looking at numbers basically. So for instance, if you're trying to fill on carbs, it doesn't matter if it's coming from rice or ice cream, right? So if you could somehow generate a quote unquote custom macro on a food, and you can eat McDonald's all day or even trash all day, you will look aesthetically pleasing if the macros fit your body type, but you wouldn't feel good inside, if that makes sense. Which is why a lot of quote unquote clean eaters are not aesthetically pleasing. They can still be a little overweight but feel great, versus somebody who is aesthetically pleasing. They probably have a six pack, whatever, but their insides are not good. Okay, so it's even more important here in America because of a lot of, like I said, a lot of the food is highly processed. There's a lot of pesticides even on fruit. So for me, now that I've gotten older, I've actually switched to the carnivore diet, which has a lot of only recent studies, but it makes sense for me. It's actually helped a lot. So all I'm eating right now is red meat. I'm just eating meat and seafood nonstop. As far as what people say about saturated fat and things like that, I mean, honestly, I'd get blood work done. So I don't really listen to the people that talk like that, because this is kind of the information a lot of the bigger corporations have pushed out, because now we're getting in the realm of like conspiracy theory, but it's very obvious where money comes from. It comes from big pharmaceutical, the remix. So when you think about it, they keep you sicker and they pill you, right? And the people that have jumped on carnivore, who are very much against pharmaceutical drugs, like Joe Rogan is one, right? And another one is, forget his name. He's a doctor, a psychologist guy, but I forget his name.
Peterson.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jordan Peterson, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson. He jumped on carnivore, and it's removed a lot of his ailments. He has a lot of like gut issues, skin issues. I actually have a little bit of psoriasis from my um, active duty days, from being in the like desert and not showering for like 3 weeks. So I actually started suffering from that around 34. I'm now near 40, and now it's almost completely gone ever since I've switched. So the results speak for themselves. And honestly, I am a type of person that will always give something a try, and I will take it for myself, and I have to understand it. It's the same way I look and approach the trading market, right? So I gave it a try. Makes sense. Like the most nutrient dense food there is red meat, right? And if you take that concept and you give me all the let's say the negative effects on it, I have an answer for it, because I've done the macro way, where it's high carb, low fat, high protein, right? Because the body will use carbs and fats as an energy, okay? Which is why you have to choose one, which is where keto comes in, right? Keto people use fat as energy, which is why they're lower carb. And then a traditional diet uses carbs as energy, right? This is why they need a little bit of fat for brain cognitive health, basically. So on a more carnivore style diet, which is similar to keto, the only difference being is that you're more red meat based, right? You're technically using the energy from the fat, okay? But because meats are more nutrient dense, I have everything I need as far as all the micronutrients, so to speak, that come from red meat. And on top of that, right, it answers the question of what I disagree with most of the American corporations on processed food. So like most of the food that I eat is grass-fed, organic beef, right? So it's very, very, and it's local farmed, right? I'm not buying from the store. I'm not going buying from Costco or anything like that. Like I actually get like a butcher box, which is, if you're an American, it's like a local farm that ships it to you. So most of my food gets shipped to me, and I cook it myself. If I'm cooking in oil or butter, it's olive oil, avocado oil, and then it's grass-fed butter, right? So all of it is very natural, and it's helped me. And I've noticed a huge change even since December. I'm sure you guys have as well. And the weight scale has also shown it. And also how I feel. Because surprisingly enough, like sometimes my family and I go out to eat, right? And because I've done a drastic change, physically, aesthetically, mentally, emotionally, doesn't matter. I'll kind of binge once in a while, right? There's this place that I like to go to that has these like dinner rolls, right? They're like bread and processed butter, and I eat it and I get absolutely bodied. Like it's like, oh my gosh. Like I am just like in the bathroom, TMI, right? And I don't feel good. I feel sluggish. I feel tired. The following day, my face looks like it's bloated. So I have just come to the conclusion. I'm like, yeah, it's not worth it. Sometimes it is though, like, as you know, some dessert is actually really good. But to note on that, right? What I've noticed is when I've visited Europe, sometimes, and you guys know, the people that live in the UK, you guys are like pastry center of the world, right? There's like a pastry place at every corner. And I was eating there like pastries because I'm on vacation, right? And I didn't have those similar effects. So this just tells me that how much processed food in America becomes a huge issue, which is one of the reasons why I jump on carnivore. I'm not like a carnivore freak, like, oh my gosh, you guys are eating the worst way in the world. It's just what's helped me because of the issues in America. But yeah, sorry to go off from right there.
No, you're good. You actually brought up some really great points, and I think something that a lot of people, at least especially in the U.S., are coming to realize is that the large food companies do not necessarily have our best interest in mind. And now that we know these things, that the wheat's being sprayed with glyphosate and that the corn's being sprayed with pesticides, and that potentially your water source is actually now contaminated with, quote unquote, forever chemicals. These are things that are concerning, and the standard American diet, in my humble opinion, as not a nutritionist but just a casual observer, is getting worse and worse and worse in terms of its quality and
Yeah,
also
totally.
its recommendations. So, no, that's an absolutely great point. And also, one of the things that I love what you said was buying local and buying grass-fed, grass-finished meat and using grass-fed butter. There, you're
Mhm.
getting a plethora of those omega 3s that again are going to help you focus, help you feel better. No, so that's incredible, man. Yeah. So, Severin, I was curious, can you discuss a little bit about the role of nutrition in your physical and mental performance as a consistently profitable trader? And I know that you also, we were talking the other day, and you mentioned that you have a lunch that you eat, like a certain type of lunch that helps you feel light, it doesn't make you feel tired. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your diet and how that works
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah, so first off, I really liked what Rivalry was sharing here, and same as with his market understanding, there are not many people with this type of knowledge in trading, in nutrition, and everything really interesting. So, yeah, we can have a chat about this later on as well, because I'm very curious about what you're doing as well. That's really nice. And yeah, so for me, I have noticed a major difference in my overall focus throughout the day since since I transitioned over to a more low carb lunch at least. Because what I always realized was, especially after working out, so I'm doing it in the morning, as I said, and when I came back, I was very hungry all the time, so I had to eat something. I was usually eating rice with chicken or even noodles or something like this. So that was not the best type of diet, I would say, especially for maintaining focus. And now what I do is I'm very low on carbs, but high on protein and fats. So what I realized doing this is that I can maintain my focus throughout the entire day. So what I had in the past was that I had this energy, my energy was just crashing. So after say 2 p.m. or something, I was extremely tired, couldn't even focus on the charts. So that is something I completely eliminated from my life since I'm doing this type of diet, which is really nice. Um, and yeah, other than that, I try to, same as Rivalry said, eat as clean as possible. If I go for meat, I try to get it from a local place which has good quality. And I mean, in Europe, I have to say that there is a lot of regulations. So some of the foods you guys in the US have, they are not allowed in Europe, which is already concerning in my opinion. So it's still not the best what we get in the grocery stores. So I'm really keeping an eye on what I get there as well. But yeah, for me, it had a major difference, major
And you make
impact.
such a good point. There are things here in the United States, particularly in fast foods and in candies and drinks like Yellow Lake 7 and Red Dye Number 2, that are actually have been shown now proven to impact the cognitive development of children. So to me, that's very scary. And I was just going to say, when I'm always in Europe, I always feel so good because I'm eating
Yeah.
kind of whatever I want. I'm walking a lot. I'm enjoying the beautiful scenery, and so I just feel like there's a quality difference, especially in the pastas and the breads there. So,
Absolutely,
no,
and I don't feel bloated. That's what's
Yeah,
crazy. And I don't feel bloated when I like because when I eat like Italian food, and I haven't eaten Italian food in a while, right? It's like very heavy carb base, pasta, lots of cheeses. Man, I feel like I can fall asleep at the dinner table. But I was eating
exactly.
everything and anything I wanted in the UK, right? But not like just off the street, but at nicer restaurants. And I've noticed that even after eating something super heavy, I could literally still walk around and enjoy the sights and not worry about any stomach digestion issues, which was blowing my mind. And the crazy part about it is, this is before I started carnivore and started working out consistently. I started losing weight. I was like, how am I on vacation losing weight and eating more here than I did back at home? It didn't make any sense to me. I mean, I was already aware of how bad the like the processed food is in America. It's just you kind of have that, I guess mindset to where you just didn't care because you were young and dumb. Not to say everyone that's young is dumb, but I felt like Superman back when I was in my mid 20s, early 30s, and I was always consistent in my workout. And I felt like nothing affected me. But then now I have to be more selective in my choices. I have to be more aware of the type of food that I put in my body because think of it as like a car, right? Like if you think of your body as a car, right? You have a very, very nice car that starts off with. Over time, there's all that mileage going in. And then you're getting those oil changes every once in a while in his car. But then anyone that knows that anyone that has a car older than 10, 15 years knows that it's not running like how it used to, and it needs a little more tender love and care in terms of the type of gas you put in it, the type of oil changes, the maintenance that's in it. So it's no different when it comes to the human body. So I've been more adamant about it ever since. And yes, it's kind of, I don't want to say too late, but I started sort of late. But the fact that I am attacking it hard and I'm seeing the after effects of the benefits of how it's been changing my life, it's a no-brainer that I'm just going to continue to do it because I plan on living for a very long time because 40 is not old yet, so yeah.
Not at all, man. And we hope that you have, at least 60 more to come, and that we can have live streams every week, at least twice a week. So,
I'll be shorting Bitcoin at 300K when I'm 100 years old.
I hope so. I hope.
It's a signal, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
So with that, Ryrie, do you use any supplements or vitamins to support your health in that way?
Not so much, honestly. Like I'll have a regular multivitamin, but just to be clear, like I am on TRT for people that don't know. So I started TRT, I think at like 36. So it's been about 3 years now. So if you guys don't know what TRT is, it's testosterone. So I take about 200 milliliters every 2 weeks. So it's not a whole lot. It's not like what actual bodybuilders are using, like 1,000 per week. So I am on that. That makes me feel like I'm literally 18 years old. The drive is there. um, and it's amazing. I don't recommend anyone starting on it that is under 30, right? But anyone above 30, it's been a game changer because the things that you guys were actually mentioning about testosterone dropping, it's absolutely true. Like all you're doing after 30 is maintaining, right? A lot of that fluff that people talk about, oh, it's going to increase your natural testosterone. Like, no, it's not going to do that. Like that is a bunch of, I don't want to say BS, but you would need to be as strict as possible in order to do that. And if anything, you're probably going to get, if you could gauge the type of percentage, is probably like less than 1%. That's why they call it a supplement, right? Because it's supplementing the actual foundation, right? And the foundation building block is testosterone. So if you are not replacing it, you're only maintaining it, you're not gaining it, you're losing it, So like it's no different than how I view footprint on the charts, right? A footprint for me, you can trade without footprint, right? But you can't trade without a chart because you don't know where you're at. So just like with, health, in order to maintain muscle mass, you need testosterone. If as long as it's continually decreasing over time in your body, you're not replacing it, you're gonna continue to lose it, right? And all those I'm not discouraging anyone that's on supplements. I know many people that are taking like 9 pills, and I'm sure it's great, right? I hate swallowing pills. I'll take your basic antihistamine for allergies. Once you hit 35, I'm telling you, you're gonna have some allergies, right? And then a regular multivitamin, a D3, and that's it. I don't have any of those crazy ones that promote all this stuff, but I do get testosterone shots every 2 weeks. Yeah.
And I think that's so important that to really recognize that everybody's different. What works for you may not work for me, may be different for Severin, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. One of the things you can do is actually have your blood tested, review that blood work with a
Yes.
doctor or with a professional, a nutritionist, whatever. And that's going to be able to tell you exactly a snapshot of where your body's at in real time. How's your
Yeah.
blood sugar? How's your levels? So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually want to go off on that real fast, because most people, like, I don't know how healthcare is in Europe, um, but here in America, you kind of have to you either have to pay for it privately, or get referred, right?
Same here.
So most of the providers here in the States, if you're just going to a regular hospital, they're not going to specialize in men's health. So you have to go to an actual provider that specializes in that understands how testosterone works and how its relation to estrogen work, because they're a balancing game, right? If you could kind of give it numbers, like with men, you have to have, like, let's say, like 10 to 15% estrogen and the rest testosterone. Women are inverse. When people that are using anabolics, because I did see a question on there, that I take anabolics during my time of lifting. I did, actually, so I'm not gonna lie about that. But even something like that, blood work is super important, because you need to see, because if you jump on anabolics or something like that, your estrogen is also going to shoot up along with your testosterone, and that's not good. It doesn't matter how much testosterone you're pumping in your body. If your estrogen's not under control, you're going to get absolutely wrecked. So most people that jump on something like that, right, they're not really thinking what they're doing. They're kind of just saying, oh, this is what bro science is. It's very similar to how I view trading. Everything in my life, I relate to thinking and using my brain, right? Which is why I do it with trading, right? So when you think of somebody who's like, oh, I learned this technique on trading, and where they watch it? YouTube. Yes, we are on YouTube, but I do cite where I find my trading style, right? It is off an actual book, literature that has been back tested, that's been used over years. So same concept when I'm looking at anabolics, or even carnivore diet that I'm talking about. It's not just because Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson used it. No, I'm actually reading it in the literature. I want to know, because it's my body. You only get one, right? And once you screw it up, it's game over, right? And it's very, very hard to reverse these effects. So when it comes to putting any type of change in your body, you have to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, that you're actually back testing, statistics, journaling. Excuse me. All of these things apply in real life as well. It's not just trading.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And it's so important, I think, to keep like a journal or a tracker of your overall, and even if it's an app or your smartwatch or whatever, like just do something to look to get some data, right? To get some data that you can interpret about yourself that's really personal, that you help you understand yourself better. So, yeah, I really
Yeah,
like
no,
that. Okay.
that's really nice. So if I may interrupt real quick, so what you just said
Yeah,
about
please.
the blood work, because that is when you can really start to supplement for deficiencies and not for the sake of supplementing,
Yeah.
right? I think that
Hmm.
makes a
Yep.
lot of sense. And there's one guy I started following, which is absolutely amazing. His name is Gary Brecka, and what he always says is get some data on your body, because when I ask Rivalry, for example, how was your trading day today, he is able to show or tell me exactly how much profit he made today, yesterday, last week, last year. That's all the numbers we know. But the data about our body, that's typically what is your testosterone level, for example. I don't know. So yeah, it's crazy. Get some data on your body, which is really important, interesting, and can help you a lot.
Yeah, and if you think about it, when you're going for any checkup, or let's say you have a concern, the first thing they always do is run blood work, because that's one way to see what's going inside your body, right? It's sometimes it could be something you're actually feeling. Like when people have an issue, let's say mentally, right? They think it's just a panic attack, but when you run a blood work will be fine. Then it's a confirmed panic attack, right? But if the blood work is off, then they know it's more than just that, right? So a lot of different things on there, but blood work is the most important. And if you guys are not doing that already, especially, and if you think you're too young, you're actually wrong. Because that's one of my biggest regrets, is because I didn't know what my baseline was when I was active duty and jumping over like 7 8 foot walls like no problem, going on 18-hour missions, coming back and working out. I kind of wished I knew what my baseline blood work was to kind of see how my body, quote unquote, deteriorated. Because now I'll work out. Yes, I'll get a nice pump. I'll look amazing, even on that stage photo. But I can tell you that after a 2-3 hour workout, when I was doing prep, I would be dead. But back when I was 22, 23, I'll do that for 8 hours straight. So it really just depends. So your age definitely also is a huge factor in that. But understanding where your baseline was when you were most optimal is also really important. Even if you're not at most optimal, let's say you're really young and you're kind of what they call skinny fat, or you have very little muscle, it's still good to get a baseline, because as you improve your body, you will be able to see the changes. So like I said, statistics, right? One of the things that I do, like, I don't really run huge statistics on trading, enough to get me by, but I'm not like the most statistical analysis guy out there. But when it comes to my own body, I am 100% on track with that, because it's like I said, you only get one.
Completely agree. And we should be looking for edge with our health. We want to spend as much time with our families and our friends and our future as possible. So I think that's a huge thing, that if you can wrap your head around it early, that you can maintain that perspective for the rest of your life. So, yeah. Just one more question, and this one's going to be for each of you, because I'm interested to hear about this one from each of you. But this is pivoting just a little bit to more of the mental aspect. But I guess I'll start with you, Severin. Have you found prayer or meditation to be helpful in managing stress and maintaining a positive and humble perspective while trading?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I integrated it into my morning routine. So what I found out that this is the time where I can really prepare for the day ahead. That is where I get the most mental clarity. That is what's keeping me calm, what's keeping me focused. I can already pre-plan my day. I can visualize what I want to achieve. So, yeah, I mean, I've been doing meditation ever since trading, I would say. So, for me, that's even a set rule. So, I won't trade unless I do a meditation in the morning. So, for me, that is like having a stop loss. It's like I won't take a trade without a stop loss. So, won't I trade without doing meditation in the morning? For me, that is essential, just because I could see the impact it had on my trading. So, and yeah, sometimes you can be in a rush and think like, yeah, I don't have the time to do the meditation in the morning. But for me, it's like, yeah, if I don't have the time to do a meditation in the morning, I shouldn't be trading at all. So that's just a correlation for me. There's no trading without meditation.
Absolutely. And Rivalry, how about you? Have you found prayer to be helpful in managing stress and maintaining a good attitude
Absolutely.
while trading?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a very unashamed believer, right? And everyone knows that Chart Champions, I'm a Christian faith-based man. And but one thing that's super interesting is that I've come across many individuals out from Chart Champions, even outside of Chart Champions, and or in public, right? When they find out I'm a believer, they're like, they'll mention something. They're like, "Hey, man, I love your faith." They'll say faith, right? And even I find myself saying, "Oh, I'm a faith-based believer. It's not a religion, it's a faith-based," right? But in reality, us as human beings, we are all faith-based people, right? We're all wired that way. We just don't even realize it. So if you think about it, like, there are people that put their faith in their children, put their faith in their work, put their faith in their, let's say they're an athlete, they put their faith in themselves. Let's say it's the business that put a faith in that. Maybe it's their success. Maybe it's someone they love, right? No matter what kind of person you are, you'll put your faith into something, right? And if that faith fails you, right, this is when it becomes a huge issue. Let's say you put your faith in your marriage, or you put your faith in a relationship, or your work, or let's say that a good example would be an athlete, and that athlete gets hurt. What happens, right? So for me, the way faith is used in my practice is that you are believing in something you cannot see. So prayer absolutely helps. And it's not so much like, I know you and I were joking about this. Like when I'm in a trade, I'm like praying to God, "Oh my gosh, please, like, please
Please
save my
do.
trade." Like that's not the way you use prayer, right? So it's more of giving myself a sense of peace, right? Because I am a person that believes that the work has been finished on the cross. So regardless of what happens, I get absolutely liquidated. I lose everything. Somebody passes away in my family, or whatever the case may be, right? I find peace in that. It's not because of peace within myself, because it's very difficult to find peace within yourself. You're finding peace in your faith because you're believing it's been done, right? That there's more to life than what you're living. So that's how I use prayer. And like, let's say I have a bad day. Like I've shared this multiple times when it comes to trading. Like I'm a specialist when it comes to trading. I like making a couple grand a day and getting out, right? Which is why I still to this day struggle with Top Step, because I'm trying to get on that P&L daily board, right? I actually I'm going to share something with you guys. Yeah, I think it was like 2 days ago. I made about 3 grand on each Top Step account, and then I ended up hitting the daily drawdown of 3 grand. So that's a $6,000 loss on each account. That's 12 grand in a single day. So I'm like, obviously I didn't touch that on the rest of my accounts on Apex, but when I think about that, and I'm like, oh my, it's like I have to take a moment to be like, and not punch my screen. That is very beautiful, right? Or take it out on family, take it on somebody who doesn't understand what's going on, or even say somebody is DMing me from Chart Champions looking for help, and I'm like, you figure it out yourself. Why can't you figure this out? Because I take a moment to pray, like, hey, provide me peace, be still in the moment and understand, right? It's not the end of the world. It's just a stop loss, right? So it does help a lot, and it's something I consistently do, because in the end of the day, my identity is not in trading. It's not with Chart Champions. It's not even with myself. It's through my faith in Christ. So this is how I do things, and yeah, it's really helped since then.
It's awesome. No, I really appreciate both of your perspectives, and if you'd be open to it, maybe we could do a quick members Q&A, and then we can wrap things up. Does that work for you guys, timing wise?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
FOMC soon,
Sure.
baby.
Yeah, we got the FOMC coming up soon, so we will, So anybody, if you have questions, please put them into the YouTube chat, and we will read those through. Okay, so first question from Arginus. This is for Rivalry. Rivalry, how's your digestion with eating a lot of meat?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like because I was eating a lot of carbs prior, or eating whatever I wanted. A lot of it was processed. Like the first 2 days on carnivore was terrible, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Without TMI, it was like liquid, bro. And if you needed to go, you needed to go now, right? Now it's like easy. They're very solid. I call them sinkers, because if you guys did studies on your actual excrement release, if they're floating, it's actually you're lacking fiber. If they're sinking, they're actually really means your digestion, your microbiome is actually doing really well. You guys can look it up. It's actually crazy. But here we are talking about poop on Chart Champions. But another thing that I've actually realized that it's a lot cleaner. Like, obviously you're gonna wash yourself or whatever. Like I've seen that it's much cleaner on my body when you wipe, when you wash, bidet, whatever. So my digestion is actually amazing, especially my stomach. Like I could eat a 16-ounce ribeye for dinner and work out within an hour and not have like a stomach ache or whatever. But yeah, my digestion's great.
Great. And Rivalry, we did get a shout out from the Dog Pound. He said they love your tattoos. So I also do. You got some great ink there, my friend.
Thank you.
And Severin, this next question is for you from Spartacus. And can you tell us just where the altcoin streams will be held? That's the Chart Champions, right?
Certainly can. Yeah, no, that's over at our website, Chart Champions. So I'm going to host an altcoin stream tomorrow. And as Scott said in the beginning, so you can always request a altcoin you want me to look at ahead of time. So you can just tag me in an altcoin channel we have in our own Discord, and then I will analyze it ahead of the stream. But what I also recently implemented is that you can submit requests during the live stream. So I thought it might be very beneficial if you can see how I analyze altcoins live in the time. So that's something I'm doing now as well. So if you want to join this altcoin stream tomorrow, you can sign up over at Chart Champions and request one altcoin I'm gonna chart tomorrow.
Awesome, awesome. And this question, I think I will pass along to myself. And this is, do you fast in the morning? And for me, I do. I fast until about after lunchtime, and that gives me the New York session to be really focused. But one thing I do make sure to do is to drink water in the morning. Always drinking water, potentially even drinking like an electrolyte drink, so you can make sure that you're hydrated and you're feeling good for the day. But yeah, I probably will have lunch a little bit later. How about you guys? Do you fast in the morning, or do you have any particular type of fasting style?
I don't really fast, but I don't eat breakfast because I only eat probably twice a day, which are very heavy meals.
Yeah, for me, it's also
How about you?
it's not really fasting, but I would say I'll have breakfast, say 1.5 or 2 hours after waking up. So that's just how it's best for me. But on the topic of water, Scott, I wanted to ask you a quick question. So in the beginning, you said you only drink clean water. What type of water do you drink? Do you have something like a hydrogen water, or what do you do?
So I don't have a hydrogen water bottle, although that's something I've looked into, but I choose to buy my water. I also have, just really quickly, I have installed a reverse osmosis water filter into my sink. So I have a tap that's a water filter, and it also includes what's called a remineralization tank. So it cleans the water through reverse osmosis process, and then pushes the water back through a mineralization tank with, some,
Oh, I have that.
Oh,
I
that's
have that
nice.
it's
running
got
through all my house.
few magnesium, a few things that you'd find in spring water, basically. And then when I'm not drinking tap water, I do choose to drink like a clean spring water, one that I know is not been contaminated. And for me personally, I really enjoy drinking bubbly water. I don't know
Same here.
if you guys do or not, but I'm a sparkling water fellow. So
But that's very unusual for American people, isn't it? So it's quite difficult to get sparkling water, right?
no, I had to find. It's a little expensive for me, but it's worth it because I drink it every day, and it's something I really do enjoy. And this is actually the water that Gary Brecker recommended. It's the Mountain Valley Spring Water, and I've researched the source of the water. I know for sure like what minerals are in it. It's a high mineral sparkling water, which means it has basically everything you get from a natural spring. And to me, that's why how I feel the best, because for my city here in Atlanta, the water quality is actually considered very hard, which means that it's very high in things like chlorine and fluoride and other chemicals that they use to actually clean the water. So for me, that just is a little bit of a risk, just because I don't know the actual long-term effects of that. But it seems like drinking spring water or overall just filtered water is the way to go.
Enjoy. Nice.
Chris. Okay, so last question here, and this is maybe a bit of a deep one, but I want to put this out to Rivalry because we will have to wrap this up shortly. I wish we could stay all day. But Rivalry, where would one begin to start if wanting to read the Holy Bible?
Honestly, I you could actually use an app. I would just use an app, but I use one called Daily Audio Bible, which is because I find reading it very, very difficult. And also when you read like stuff like the Old Testament, which is very, very I don't I'm gonna use this term very loosely, right? Contradicting to our culture that's more modern. It's very hard to interpret these things. And when this individual, his name is Brian, that reads it, he actually reads back into the context and gives you an overview. And it really has helped me understand it and appreciate it more. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, when the Israelites were led out of Egypt from Pharaoh, right? They went into their own compound and pretty much were like sacrificing all these goats and all this stuff, and they say, oh, don't eat this, and boil this thing and remove this there, and you're like, what the heck is going on? This is really crazy. But in reality, if you think about it, when the Israelites were there for like 400 or 500 years, they're not a civilized people, so it's actually common sense when God is giving them commands to actually, hey, this is how you become civilized. When a woman is on her menstrual cycle, she has to be away from the camp. I'm like, well, obvious, because you don't want to spread disease. So something as small as that has really helped me kind of enjoy reading it, because the guy, when he speaks as well, he sounds very soothing. It's not like one of those Bible apps where it sounds robotic. So I would give that a try. I personally find it very challenging for myself just to read it on my own, but I do it only because I'm trying to be intentional with my time. in spending and time, like it's more like a meditation, so to speak, that one-on-one time of a quote unquote relationship. I do that, but in most cases, it's better to be fed, and I'm an auditory learner. I like to learn by hearing. This is how I learned all my trading styles. I've audiobooks, right? So when it comes to that, yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Those were great answers. And I think we really did cover some really interesting topics. And I got to say, personally, it was great to hear from you guys about what you're doing fitness wise, how you're keeping sharp mentally. And clearly, that has translated into success in your trading lives. And we can all see that through your hard work every day in your trading channels and in your live streams, and as well in your lessons. So I just want to say thank you so much to Rivalry and Severin for sharing your insights, giving us a little bit of inside look about what your life is like outside of trading. And I really, really encourage everyone who's here, who's not already, to check out Severin and Rivalry on X. Severin's at Severin Jutta. Rivalry is Paulo Flores. So if you want to look them up, highly recommend it. And if you're interested in what we're talking about and you want to learn more about the trading aspects of what we're covering, we encourage you to check us out at chartchampions.com. So with that, I want to conclude the April roundtable. I want to wish you all a wonderful month of May as we move into the end of spring, beginning of summertime here. And yes, also today, the FOMC rate decision is coming up in 20 minutes. And then they will be having basically a speech around 2:30, so about an hour. So wonderful trading to all of you. Stay safe out there, and don't forget to protect yourselves and stay small and smart. So with that, if Severin and Rivalry, you have anything else, please feel free to close us out.
No, just thank you for hosting the stream. I think you picked a very
Yes.
interesting topic. That was really nice. I hope everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. And I actually learned a lot of things myself. And about the FOMC meeting, if you are new to trading, don't trade the FOMC. If you made good profits, don't trade the FOMC. If you're down on the day, don't trade the FOMC. So be very
Don't trade
careful.
Yes.
Perfect. Rivalry, any last words?
Yeah, I echo Severin. Don't trade the FOMC. Like even myself, take it like this. I am what I would consider a professional trader. Like this is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my bills. I'm not trading the FOMC. I am trading. Let me take that back because I would be lying. My foundational accounts that pay my bills will not be trading the FOMC. I do have one account, not copy traded, okay, that I have put aside to get aggressive. And let me tell you, I don't always win those. So if I'm already telling you right now not to do it, then simply don't do it.
You heard it here first from the experts themselves. And with that, I want to say a huge thank you to our audience. Thank you for all of our members and non-members who have tuned in to learn a little bit more about us and about our coaches. So we look forward to seeing you on the next month's roundtable. And with that, I think we can close it out. Wonderful job. And thank you again to all.
Thank you, and see you all soon. Goodbye.
Take care.
See you soon. Bye. Take care.